Hey guys, Andrew here with TrueFit. I want to thank you for tuning in. Today's video is going to be about hypothyroidism and what are some of the symptoms that come along with hypothyroidism. Reason being I want to do this video is because I think a very large percentage of the population around the world on some degree is dealing with levels of hypothyroidism, whether it be very mild case or a very severe case. I'm going to list quite a few symptoms that people often overlook. They just throw it off as, I'm aging, this is why I'm feeling this way, or people that go and work with their general physician, they get blood work and their doctor isn't looking into the root cause issue that could definitely be thyroid related, and they're looking at it as kind of like a game of whack-a-mole where they have these symptoms, doctor will prescribe them medications for that exact symptom instead of addressing the root cause. So I'm going to list some of these symptoms, and my goal with this video is kind of give you guys an eye-opening experience into what hypothyroidism looks like, and kind of answer questions for you on certain issues that you may be dealing with your health. So I'm just going to jot them down here. Let's see. Number one, this is the most common way to check your thyroid function from home without having to get blood work done, is just checking your body temperature and your pulse rate. Usually people with hypothyroidism, not all the time, sometimes it could be elevated, that they have a high heart rate and a high body temperature, but majority of the time it's going to be a low body temperature and a low pulse rate. And for a healthy thyroid, you want you want a body temperature around 98 degrees and a pulse rate around 70 to 80 beats per minute. Hypothyroid people will be well below those numbers, and you usually want to check that in the first thing in the morning when you wake up, and that'll give you a good indicator. Number two, thinning hair, thinning eyebrows is very common, especially people, if you see eyebrows that are like, the last third on the outer edge of their eyebrows is starting to fade away. That's a pretty good indicator with a thyroid issue. Thinning hair, that's another, issue for hypothyroidism. But there's a ton of reasons why people might have thinning hair. Skinny fat, although people are active, that shows, usually high levels of cortisol. People that are losing a lot of weight, but they can't really shed that last layer of fat. A lot of that could be stemming from hypothyroid. Dry skin, a reserved voice, and this happens with people with thyroid issues because their hormones are so out of whack. They tend to have low testosterone for the men, low DHT, so they'll have a reserved voice that doesn't really have much power behind it. And you notice this a lot with people that are entering like their 50s, 60s, and 70s. Their voice becomes a lot softer. A lot of that is related to thyroid function. Cold extremities, hands and feet, slow digestion, constipation is really common. Low blood sugar. Now this is a big issue for a lot of people. And this is where I think people get mixed with hyperthyroidism and hypo. And this is just my opinion. With a low blood sugar, what happens is you get an increase in adrenaline. Adrenaline will increase things like body temperature, pulse rate, make you a little bit shaky. And a lot of the times, hyperthyroidism could also be misdiagnosed and could be a form of hypothyroidism. So something to look at. There's a lot of labs you can check and get second opinions on to see exactly what's going on with your thyroid function. But low blood sugar will increase adrenaline in a lot of people. If you become easily inflamed, you're lethargic, low energy, fatigue, even after like a good night of sleep and you wake up and you're still groggy and tired, not that much energy, poor sleep, a lot of mental health issues, anxiety, depression, all could be stemming from hypothyroidism. So something to look at. I listed like 15 symptoms there. And if you're somebody that's dealing with like one or two of these symptoms that just kind of spawned out of nowhere, it's definitely something to look into. Obviously, what I like to coach people on to fix their hypothyroid issues is to always approach it with diet and lifestyle first. And then from there, you can go the medication route. A lot of people like to take active forms of thyroid, which is T3, and that seems to help. But if you're going to go that route, you want to make sure you know exactly what you're doing, because you could be taking too much T3, and this could actually push you into hyperthyroidism and cause a lot of issues as well. So you want to be very smart if you're going to be self-medicating with T3. And here's a book, Hypothyroidism, The Unsuspected Illness by Dr. Broda Barnes. Really fantastic book. Dr. Ray Peat references his work a lot and got a lot of his information from him. This book is very very easy to read, touches base on a lot of health issues that people deal with hypothyroidism, and gives you certain ways to correct them naturally. So it's a very inexpensive book with a lot of great knowledge, and people that are wanting more answers to questions they have, I highly recommend checking out that book. And there's also other channels out there you can look that really get into hypothyroidism, like Danny Roddy's channel. Georgie Dinkoff is on a lot of interviews. Obviously, Dr. Raymond Pete is fantastic. So I just want to share this information with you guys. I think it's a topic that needs to be talked about more because it is, like this book said, it's an unsuspected illness, and it often gets overlooked for a lot of people that have symptoms that don't seem that severe, but they will be down the road if you do not address it, and it'll just accelerate the aging process. So the thyroid has many, many functions, hormonally especially, so it's really something you want to look at if you're wanting to improve your health and lifestyle and all that stuff. So if you guys have any questions or comments, drop them below. You can find me on Instagram as well at DrewFit, DRUE_FIT. And if you guys, like I said, if you have any questions, you can shoot me a message on there as well. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.